Hi guys, hope y'all are doing well. This recording is chapter 9. So we're going to be calculating dividend discount models and corporate valuation models. I'll probably split those up into two different videos here, just to keep it short. But so far we've been talking about debt a lot. That was chapter 7, valuing bonds. So we're switching gears here. We're talking about ownership. So remember the difference between stock and bonds. Stock is equity, it's ownership, whereas bonds is debt. It's a requirement to repay. You have to repay this amount. So typically it tends to be easier to value these bond instruments and figure out what those are worth. Whereas stock, there's no requirement to repay it. As you know, the stock market prices move up and down all the time. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to value the equity in a company or the common stock, common shares of stock. And to do that, there's a lot of models. All of these are just different financial models. In this course, we'll do 2 different ones mainly, well, 3 different ones, but there's lots of them, dozens. So we're going to do a couple of them here. For this first one, it's called the dividend discount model. Sorry, my kids are singing in the background. So the dividend discount model, we're basically saying 1 share of stock is worth today all its future dividends discounted back to today's dollars. So remember your timeline, right? The price of a stock today is worth all of these dividends into the future, all the way down forever and ever, as long as you're going to get these dividends, all of them discounted back, all right, and added up. So you find the sum of each of these dividends today, and we're saying that's what a share of that company's stock is worth. Okay, so that's the logic behind this. That's how we're going to do it. Now, a few issues with it. One, how do we calculate this? How do we figure out what all these are going to be worth, right? We're predicting the future right there by itself, trying to figure out what each dividend is going to be worth in the future. The second problem, what if the company doesn't pay a dividend, which is an issue. There's lots of companies that don't pay dividends. Obviously, this model wouldn't work. So this is limited in scope for sure, but it's a start. So we'll start with this one, calculate dividend discount model to figure out the price of the stock today. So I'll give you the formula for this, and then we'll work through some problems. So using the dividend discount model, this P0 hat, 0 is today, just like your timeline. P stands for the price, the hat is just an estimate. So we're saying the estimate of the stock price today is equal to D0 over R minus G. All right, so again, this is solving for the price. D0 is the dividend just paid. R is our expected or required return. And then G is your dividend growth rate. Okay, so if we have a dividend growing at a constant rate, and we estimate this, we have our required return that we expect for the stock, and we know the dividend just paid, then we can discount all this back to today. 1 second. Okay. So that's how we'll solve this one. Given your first problem on the handout that I posted on Moodle, you're given this information. We have just paid its annual dividend of $162. This is number 1. So D0 is $1.62. All future dividends will increase at 2.1% annually. So that's your growth rate. Our required return is 15.7%. And we're looking for the price today. One share of this stock, what is it worth to you today, given this information? So if you plug all this in, P0 is going to equal 1.62 times 1 plus, sorry, I misread this. If it is D0 at the top, my mistake. D0, you will multiply this by 1 plus your growth rate. My mistake. Okay. D0 still, though, is your dividend just paid. All right, so make that adjustment. My mistake. I'll show you the alternative to that in a minute. It's kind of where I was going. All right, so 1 plus your growth rate. Make sure you put this in as a decimal, 0.021%. Okay, 2.1%. All of that divided by our required return, 0.157 minus 0.021. And if you plug all this in, solve it, make sure you get your order of operations right. You should get $12.16. Okay. All right, now this D0 times 1 plus the growth rate. Another way to write this, D0 times 1 plus G is also equal to D1. All right, say hi real quick, guys, and then y'all gotta go.
Hi. Hi. Can I have
Peek your head in. Just go ask Mom. I'll come help you in a minute.
Hi.
All right, go. Sorry. Okay, bear with me. So D0 times 1 plus our growth rate is equal to D1. This is going to be the next dividend. All right, D0 is still your dividend just paid. Okay. So you will adjust that way. Notice also, we could rewrite this equation using D1. So if we're solving for the price today, we could rewrite it this way, D1 over R minus G. All right, so pay attention in the problems. If it says we expect the next dividend to be equal to whatever amount, that would be D1. It says the dividend just paid is equal to some amount, that's D0. Okay, we could also rearrange this. Let's say you're given the price and we want to solve for the next dividend, like in number 3 here. We could rearrange this formula. So we wanted to solve for D1, just multiply both sides by R minus G. So D1 is going to equal price today times required return minus growth. Okay, so just use your basic algebra math. Rearrange formulas, solve for what's missing and what you need to do. I'll let you try to solve 2 and 3 and 4 on your own. Let's look at number 5. This is asking for the capital gains. So we'll kind of break down this formula a little more and talk about what those different parts are. All right, so looking at number 5, capital gains. Capital gains is just referring to how much you're going to make from when you buy the stock to when you sell. So the difference in price at that time. Okay, so number 5, we're going to solve this in a couple parts. So first it says, this morning you purchased a stock that will pay an annual dividend of $1.90 per share next year. All right, so remember, next year, next dividend is going to be D1. So you'll get $190 per share next year. Required return, 12%. Dividend increases at 3.5%. All right, so what will our capital gains be in dollars? We could solve this two ways, looking at dollar capital gains or the yield, which is a return. This one's asking for, in dollars, what will the capital gains be on this stock if you sell it 3 years from now? All right, so think of this in a timeline. This is today. Time equals 0. So if we buy this stock today, or we did in fact, this morning we purchased the stock. So we bought a stock today for some price, P0. We know that the dividend here, D1, is going to be equal to 190. All right, it's going to grow at 3.5%. So we can carry this out, figure out each year what the next dividend would be. We want to know what would your capital gains be if we sell it 3 years from now. So here at this point, we're going to sell. So the price in 3 years from now. The capital gains is just going to be our difference in these two prices. Okay, so let's try to solve this. First, let's solve for P0, the price today that we paid. So P0 is going to equal 190. That's our next dividend, right? D1 divided by required return, 0.12 minus 0.035. All right, so that gives us P0, which should come out to be 22.35. All right, now how do we figure out this? We've got P0, we've got this part. How do we figure out P3? 3 years from now, what will this stock be worth? So we can use our same formula. We could either use D3 is going to be equal to D4 over R minus G, or D3 times 1 plus growth over R minus G. These are the same thing. So if we can figure out either what's this dividend going to be, D4, or D3 and multiply it times 1 plus our growth rate. Either way will work. All right? Let's clear up some room here. So we've got P0 equals 22.35. Okay. 22.35 is P0. Let's see if we can find either D3 or D4 and plug it in there to solve the price 3 years from now. All right. So think about time value of money again. If we have this amount here, $1.90, we know that it's growing at a certain rate, right? This rate actually, 3.5% each year. So we could carry this forward to figure that out, right? Remember that? So if we've got, I'll redraw this, 1.90 here. Let's say we want to take it out to here to figure out what D4 is going to be. Just think back to present value, future value. You've got a one-time lump sum growing at a constant rate. You could plug this into your time value of money keys, or you could solve it using the equation, either one. Let's do it both ways, just to make sure we've got it. All right, so we've got 190 today. Present value equals $1.90. How long is it going to be there? Or how long is it growing? 1, this year, this year, this year. So it's going to grow 3 years. So N is going to be 3. There are no payments, right? We're just trying to figure out what this D4 is going to be equal to. So future value is our unknown. Okay, and then I/Y is 3.5%, an annual rate. Okay, sorry, just cutting it off. All right, so if you plug that in, then you'll get D4. The other way you could do this, remember, future value equals present value times 1 plus R. Sorry, here it would be G, our growth rate, raised to the T power, however many years we're doing this. So FV would equal 190, 1 plus our growth rate, 0.035, raised to, again, the third power. Okay? So make sure you recognize here, we're solving this. We're solving D4. That's why we're carrying it out 3 powers. We could solve it for D3, carry it out for 2 years, and then multiply by 1 plus G. That's fine. Or we can just go straight to D4. Either way works. All right. So once you plug all this in, solve for your price at year 3 using this new dividend. Okay. So we've got you can solve for this, figure out that dividend. I'm just going to plug it in using this formula to save some time and space. So price at year 3, because remember the problem, we're trying to solve for the capital gains from our year 3 selling point versus buying it today. So 3 years from now. All right, so price at year 3 is going to equal 1.90, this dividend, times 1 plus our growth rate, 0.035, raised to the third power. Okay, so this whole piece that I just wrote, that is equal to D4. Okay, see that? All I'm doing is this. All right, so all of that divided by R minus G. R here is 12%, 0.12 minus 0.035. Plug all that in. I got 24.78. Okay, so P3 is equal to this. P0, the price today, was equal to 22.35. So our capital gains is just the difference in those two in dollars. 24.78 minus 22.35, and you get $2.43. All right, there's a lot on that board, multiple steps. Take your time, make sure you understand the process, rewatch this, email me if you have questions. You should be able to work through the rest of these problems given that information. Given any dividend with a constant growth rate, you can solve it this way using this dividend model. So if we're looking for the price 6 years from now, 10 years from now, you have the tools to get there. Just think through it and take your time. Okay, give the rest of these a shot on this worksheet, 1 through 7. I think you should be able to get all of those, and I'll post another video going over the corporate valuation model.